back of all too. Stämmer det?
Det stämmer.
Ja, varsågod.
Tack så mycket.
Nej, 3 7. Nej, 4. På 37. Eller vad då? 32.
172. Varsågod.
Lite.
Lycka till Sebastian.
Так, 27. Ставят šitas kibiriukas, remėgilis dafiga. Tai gal čia nieko blogo iš tikrųjų? Man atrodo jau nieko. Nes iš kur tipo va, prie jų bus taip.
Det går fint på skidor på där, ja.
Ja, det går. Det är lätt fart.
8-6. Hello. Hello.
Thank you.
7-5-6.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to ski after the race or
Ski after racing.
Когда еще туда идет, или большой спуск, такой, самый верх.
komplicerat att räkna. Man ska sluta själv med lägre än man kan säga det så. Får han chansen att vinna världscupen på den. Vi har Östersund och alldeles strax. Det betyder att det är 3 minuter kvar då till hur hastigheten ska starta den här tävlingen. Vi börjar på den allra högsta nivå med den 27-åringen mannen som utåkare, världsmästaren Martin Fossema på hemmaplan i Östersund. Sätter säsongen som 27. Det är 50 år och stegmajaren som börjar
Senki. Make. Ja. Persze, hát dolgozol egész napot, erre kellene hazajönni. Én se izélni rajta. Igen. Már láttam, mert 300 megtekintésnél tart már a YouTube-on vagyunk. Most vettem fel 2 videót. Igen. Persze. Most akkor nem is hallják, hogy mi beszélünk. Hát, hogy live-oztam.
This weekend, so much pressure. He coped with it last year, and actually, if you think of the last race last season, although they weren't really aware it was going to be the last race until the day, I thought he did immensely well. Had to finish, what was it, in the top 3, and he finished in the top 3. And we'll see how he goes today. How do you think he feels about drawing bib number 1?
I think he'll be disappointed. He'd have preferred, I think, that there was some ahead of him. But you know what? You put a number on this man, and he will always give his best. And I've heard as well, Patrick, that he's had a little by just a small margin. Once again, he had a drill out, and I think it was the handhold that he was working on.
Yeah, Mike, it's like the golfers that change their set every time they go out to play. You reach a point of desperation, and it might well have been better just to stick at the old one and work on his head rather than the actual rifle itself. We'll see how he gets on today. Petrushny starting second for Ukraine, 30 seconds behind the Norwegian, of course. And then we got Karnikov, and then Lukashov starts fourth. There is Lukas, success in Novo Mesto. Great to see him on the podium. He certainly deserves it, Mike. He's been a long-time servant of the Italian team.
He has, and Bokharnikov there started his season well, but seems to have dropped away as the season progressed. But I think Lukashov coming up next. I think with 2 minutes on the clock behind Johannes Tingesbro, he'll be getting all the information in terms of ski speed. And Lukashov, his shooting has improved so much towards the end of the season.
Yeah, let's hope he can do it again today. Number 5, Emilien Cloud. And he's looking very good, only 21. Obviously been at the Junior World Championships. Only his 7th World Cup this season. Hoffer, 8th in the overall World Cup standings. I think he probably would have settled for that before the start of the year. But he would love to have added to the 1 World Cup win that he's got. He won that in Antolz, and memorable by the fact that he shared the victory with Simonshen.
very unusual to get those shared high points on the podium, but you crossed the line. They weren't all starting together. They crossed the line at the same moment, and Lukas Hofer would be so happy to take another win, his second.
And Cloud, a very good Junior World Championships. Amy Berserger racing for Switzerland this morning, the dominant athlete of the Women's Junior World Championships. Didn't really come off for her, Mike. But she's got the experience, and when she joins the Swiss team next year, which I'm pretty sure she will do, I don't think she'll be overruled by the occasion.
No, I'm sure we can expect great things. And Finnish, he seems to be improving his form from 28th position last week, but missing only one. If he gets 10 today, he could certainly hope for, I think, a top 15.
Yeah, that would help. 38th in the World Cup rankings, not been a brilliant season. Generally misses 2 or 3 in the sprint. And nowadays, if you want a top 15, really you need to be limiting it to 1 miss. Eric Lesser starting for Germany, not hugely successful with the women this morning. The Germans, Lesser certainly is capable. 2 wins in his career. And a bad World Championships, 0-2 he shot, finished down in 66, so he missed out on the pursuit. And he was 7th, I was going to say 7th in all 3 relays, Mike, which really was not good enough for Germany.
Not really, and his form definitely dropped away at the World Championships, sparked back up again in Nova Mesto, the next competition after that.
Lauren Cloud, brother of Emilian Cloud, who's just started, but races for Belgium. Best he's done this season is 22nd. That's pretty respectable. As we go back to the race starter. Now, how much is the fact that he is trailblazing going to cost him? You can see his ski marks. There's definitely an impression there, Mike. And I suspect that those starting in the first 20-25 are going to be at a slight disadvantage on their first lap.
I think it's very safe to say that. It doesn't look like much snow, but it's been, what, some 15 minutes since this was skied upon, and it does make a small difference. He'll certainly be okay the next time around, but this looks a very firm pace.
In terms of the fall outfits, we've seen them going around. What else can they do in between the races to make sure that the track is fair, as we see Ponsaloma, the sprint world champion, just about to start?
Yes, as Ponsaloma gets underway, he'll want a good one here. It's difficult, isn't it? You can drag and often we do see it when there's heavy snow. The ski-doos go around dragging like a wire mesh just to flatten that top layer of snow down. But there really hasn't been a major fall, so it wasn't necessary now. And certainly the jury can make a decision if it's heavy snow, but you just have to put up with it with bib number 1.
Yeah, okay. Nagyon szépen köszönöm.
Now 34. How many more seasons has he got in those legs if he can shoot well?
Én tegnap például, mikor kijött 9-kor, én leültem és én végignéztem, tartott fél hétig. Végignéztem egy a 10 év.
Will the pressure show? His shooting has been remarkable this season. Yes, it's dropped off slightly over the last couple of weeks, but suddenly the pressure and the realization that the crystal globe is within his grasp. It's going to be, it would be an amazing achievement, wouldn't it, Mike? But he's actually older than Tadeusz was when he won it in 2011.
It would still be an incredible achievement, just considering he took part in the last 2 World Cups of last season. This season is brand new to him. He took 386 shots from 410 fired. Not many people would do that standing on a summer's day with no heartbeat at all. It's quite incredible.
How long did it take you to count those up?
I'll have to just add on to it for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's strange how you get sidetracked when you're doing your research. There's a little fact that you have to find out. But interesting stuff and amazing ability to hit the targets, Ligrid. And today, if he can go clear in the prone and Johannes Tingis misses in the prone, then the pressure mounts on the champion enormously. And he may struggle in the closing stages.
Igen, értem.
So here he comes, and he's greeted by
Igen,
the very
értem,
thing he didn't
mindent
want, a stiff breeze.
Egy városban lakunk, de azért utálsz.
Since they finished zeroing their weapons, he's good enough and experienced enough to spot it, but his shooting record is poor by his standards. 87 in the prone, 83 in the stand, and Maze, the coach, was looking for 80, 88, 89 at least this season. First one often goes wide.
Incredible. Worst possible start. That second one was low as well. The first one missed low. The third was low right.
Oh, well, I was just about to say he's still in the race. I'm not sure he is anymore, Mike. Two misses.
Ja, to już írtam a csatornára, hogy minden extratónos videó nem lesz több, de azt már le is iratkoztam, hogy 20. Hát az én csatornám. De hogy 1504 van még mindig. Az enyémről, hogy pár emberre iratkozott, mert nem extratónos tartalom van fel. Azért jött össze 1500, a semmire.
And that would make it 4 for the season, which would match his brother. Ponzalomo, after a very dynamic start, has eased a bit. He's on the big climb that Mike was talking about a little bit earlier on, and I'm just wondering whether he left that start gate a little too enthusiastically. The spring has gone from the legs, a bit like my Renault. The spring was sprung.
But this is, I think it's an indication of how difficult this hill is. I think it's about 700 meters of track distance without 49, 50 in a rise. It's a huge test.
Már Forma-1-ről ugye lemondtam, hogy ez nem is az én sportom, játszani jó, de a VTC-ebb akkor, de amúgy a VTC-ebb azt is így kipróbálnak, ez van az őszintén, mert nekem szerintem könnyebb, mint Forma 1-es verseny. Ez azt szerintem sokkal könnyebb oda bejutni, mint F1-es versenyzőre. Hát mindenhez kell pénz.
They're quite strong. We're seeing 7-8 kilometers an hour from the left, but when the last part of the zero session and the men's zeroing, I felt the wind.
Már lassan lehet, azért is kell ez. Hát oda így folytatjuk, tehát azért is kell ez.
Accordingly, adjusting now into the wind. Clockwise, a click on the sights, and that will move the ball 3 millimeters each click.
Az nekem ott fasz.
Well, you heard the reaction, and not particularly happy with that. In terms of zeroing, France zeroed on lane 5.
Mit szeretsz?
Most of the athletes will look for the lane where they zeroed. Italy were on lane 9.
Lehet akár itt lett valami szénnéget volna teljesen.
Just hearing Patrick and seeing that Legrid is 4 seconds behind Johannes Tingis' first time at 2 kilometers. That's quite a lot to lose. That's almost a penalty loop already.
Yeah, I wonder what the issue is there. Maybe saving something for the end of the race. I think maybe he probably realised, maybe he has heard that Johannes Tingis has missed twice, Mike, and he's just going to make sure.
Well, no point in coming in too hard. The vastly experienced Eric Lesser struggling there, missing 2. He does shoot fast, although that was 27 seconds, so he's held back a little in terms of shooting, but the wind is the issue right now.
Yeah, 6 through, only 2 have gone clear. Hoffer is 1, Bakarnikov is 1. And
we're
expecting
Nem muszáj.
Lesser in fairly
Legyen,
shortly.
legyen.
There's no Eric missed two. He's on the penalty look right now.
Yes, Smolski, yeah, apologies.
Amúgy megpróbáltam felrakni más csatornára, látod Szörvált első részét, megpróbáltam felrakni. Hát rábasztam. Eltelt 5 perc, tiltva az egész. Az egész tiltva lett az egész. Felraktam videóra, azt számmal.
Vincent J, did he get more than one in the end?
Vincent J, I think he only got the one major, but hey, it happened when it was required
on the big day.
On the biggest day possible.
That's good shooting from Ponsaloma.
Én azért nem néztem, de végén néztem, azért nem, de a többi szerintem nem fog mérni.
Just a little bit quicker than Hoffa. Talia Bo through 2.1. And with Ponsaloma clear, that looks good. 7.56. Pidrushny, the fastest shot so far with a 24-second shoot. Iliev some way outside there and with a miss. Now, Seb Samuelsson certainly will have seen the targets of his teammate Ponsaloma on the big screen. Huge moment then for Lygrid. Can he take advantage? 12.8 outside Ponsaloma's time. Picked the pace up a little bit, did he, in the closing stages?
Just, well, he had 19.6 behind. He was down at 20.7 at one point, but look at this, it's stable again.
Immaculate, absolutely immaculate. There's a certain symmetry to his shooting, there's a rhythm, there's a confidence. And when you see Johannes Tingis settling now, Mike, you sort of get nervous. You can feel your palms starting to sweat. It's just not going his way. And Sturlaholm Lygrid, fantastic under the greatest of pressure, clears fine. And he may well be the yellow tomorrow if he keeps this going.
Yes, he seems to be a little lacking marginally in his skiing speed, but as always, that shooting is sound and safe. He was a little lucky, I think. The weather window, I think the flags, the wind control just really when Lygrid came in. And maybe it'll be stronger the next time he comes in.
Yeah, Johannes Tingis certainly had the strongest wind that anyone's had so far, but his shots were low. Would that left to right wind throw them low as well?
It does. It generally throws them low and to the right, and we certainly saw two of them just slotting in their low right, and then of course the miss was low, so the wind pushes the bullet as it rotates clockwise, it pushes it to the right and drops it down with the pressure on that top third edge.
The Magnus effect.
That's the word. I thought Grishmar performed very well at home. He wanted a podium. He was close in 10th position, and he held his nerve well.
Well, that's a pretty sharp shoot, 29.7, fastest shoot as I mentioned. Pidrushny on 24 seconds. What can Johannes Kern do? Germany with Lesser through, 2 misses from Lesser. He's now 13 out of the 13 to have exited the range.
Tehát amúgy szokott a főn aztán elmegy. Akkor is vagy.
Yeah, Johannes Kern having a nightmare. What's going to happen to Talia Bo? 1 out of the 5, an extra 600 meters to ski, 6% added to his race already. We probably won't see him again. 4.8 outside Ponsaloma's time. That's okay for Talia Bo. That's a good shoot, and what are we, around the 30-second mark. We'll confirm that when the readings come up. Now, huge moment, has to get 5, surely, if he wants to stay in yellow. 7 points effectively between Johannes Tingesbo and Stålholm Ligrid. Where was that in the prone? Where was that performance in the prone?
Isn't that incredible? That was pure reaction shooting. He built a very, very stable base and no thought pattern at all. Just one breath in between each release of the bullet, and it was immaculate.
Yeah, so his last sprints, Mike, Novo Miesto, he missed 2 last week. He missed 3 the week before that. He missed 2 in the World Championship sprint. And the last time he went clear was in Oberhof, where he won. So the last month has not been, the sprint has not been his favoured race. Now, Hoffer, he'll be happy if he can clear 5. Have a look at that time, 43 seconds inside Johannes Tingesbo.
USA is clean, number 19.
Is it going to be 2 podiums on the trot? It may well be for Lukas Hoffer. He's going to set a very stiff time for others to chase. And the Italian seems to be getting sharper and sharper. Now, he's still got 3.3 to go, Mike. He cannot ski at that pace for the rest of the race.
That's worrying me, the attack, but he is the ultimate fighter, isn't he? 41 seconds ahead of Johannes Tingesbo, 41.5, and that really is setting up. Lukas Hoffer will know that really is setting him up for his second ever victory.
De meg érdekes, hogy a YouTube-on fenn is tartani, miközben a legjobb oldalán fenn van. Ez az érdekes. Ez olyan, mintha egyszer felrakol egy F1-es futamot, amikor úgy gondolja, letiltja.
How many of them have actually had a very small dose but not really known about it prior to all the testing started, and the testing really started at the start of the season.
It wouldn't surprise me if so many have had it unbeknown to them, and the effects that does have. And maybe you have a number of athletes have had a drop in their training, a drop in their energy levels, even within the summer months, and often just putting it down to some overtraining. So we never know really how it is affecting them and how many have actually had it.
Felix Leitner of Austria, just under 90%. For prone, so he should certainly clear 4.
Leitner is at number 7. Then go Canada 1 lap. Sverige vinner stopp på 29. One more lap for Emily and Claude.
The shoot got smoother as it went on, and the reloading a little more fluent. But 5 out of 5, 12.4 behind coming in. Not the quickest of shoots, so probably a couple of seconds on top of that. And 14.7.
Sorry.
Fairly handy for Leitner to have someone to follow on the way round. Here are the standings after the first shoot. Ponsaloma, the world champion, leads with 7.56. Lukas Hoffer, who has also gone through the stand without any mistakes, up there. 13th position to Johannes Tingesbo, 37.9. Haven't seen Ligrid for a while, Mike. He must be due in for the stand shoot very, very shortly.
He must be. He's only 10.3 seconds behind Lukas Hoffer, so he seems to have picked up his pace just a little at Ligrid.
Yeah, certainly early season, his one weakness was the last loop, and I think over the last couple of weeks I've sensed that he's just been trying to save a little for the final lap.
Yes, maturing, I think, as the season goes on. Ponsaloma, he really needed 5 there for a second win. Of course, the first one was at the World Championships in this discipline.
Samuelsson with a nice start position. 7th last week. He was on the podium the week before that. A little... Is that one snowflake that's gone?
It's so irritating. Even on the second that you take the rear slope off the rear sights, you can get just 1 or 2 crystals in there, and that can often put you off. I'm pleased to see that it hasn't put Samuelsson off.
Yeah, good recovery. but a 34-second shoot instead of a 29, 30-second shoot now. Lygrid, this is a huge moment for him.
Okay, 4 sekunder efter. 4 seconds behind third place.
Rebuilds,
and
same as usual, down it goes, another 100% shoot for Lygrid, and that may be the ticket to the Crystal Globe. We'll have to wait and see whether that is the turning point. Johannes Tingesbo, you can see 41 seconds down. There is no doubt Lygrid is going to come in ahead of his main rival. The question is how many places, how many athletes get between the two of them, and with a margin, Mike, of just under 30 seconds, you would have thought it was going to be about 15 or 20 athletes.
Oh, you would expect that in normal World Cup racing. A number of big names missing. We saw Ponce Loma missing 2 there. Let's have a look at Jakob Fak. I felt that Jakob could touch the podium again. He didn't manage it at the World Championships, but he needed 5.
Yeah, he's been shooting so well. He didn't miss a target the first week in Novo Mesto, clearing the sprint, clearing the pursuit. Then he missed 1 apiece in the sprint and pursuit the second week. So he's been on target to have too much energy in the legs, particularly in the latter stages of the races. But he's done really, really well for the Slovenian team. Now, Johannes is fighting for his title here today.
Én meg.
Így van.
And look at that, he's getting
Az 3-4 fél nap alatt.
Én még csak a izét néztem meg a szájírokat.
Tegnap meg már néztem meg az egészet.
Mit gondolsz róla?
Jó lett szerintem.
Szinkronban nézted, vagy folyamodtam?
Felirat. De szinkron egy másodperc.
Ja, én is.
Szinkron én egy másodpercet nem néztem, és jobb is volt így.
Ja, én is rájöttem, hogy
Jó, neked én el tudom, én azért néztem így. Mindenki úgy nézze, hogy neki jó.
én is először szinkronban akartam, aztán rájöttem, hogy rakta jó.
Lucas Hoffer looks to have had an absolute blinder on this last lap. He was 42 clear at 8.8. He was 45 clear at 9.6. He skied that last loop quicker than Johannes Tingesbo. And is he hungry for a win or what? He's got one, remember, but he's not got any this season. And Hoffer across the line. Oh, that's fabulous. 22-27. It may well stand the test of time. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, I think it will. It's going to be difficult for Terriabo to pull back those 14.7. Another perfect shooting score. It's all ahead of him. He'll get all the information of what he needs to do.
Terriabo left 14.7 behind Hofer. Hofer has done a cracking ski race, not only shooting. Terriabo 0.4 seconds ahead of Lagos.
Szerintem az Alfa jobb lett, mint a Ferrari.
Shoots, Patrick, just remembering back to the World Championships here when Johannes Tingesbo won and Terriabo was second. I think the way that Terriabo is racing right now, it may well be a second place by the end of the day for Terriabo.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, Mike, because if Terriabo can get ahead of Lygrid, he does his brother a favour by pushing Lygrid down the order. It's going to be interesting to see how hard he will fight for his brother. Jake Brown, too many mistakes on the range of late, but his skiing certainly getting up towards the highest level. And shooting just that little bit too slow. That's going to be a big gap between the 4th and the 5th round. We're in double digits, not quite. Andy's missed it. So that ending up costing him some 35 seconds. Samuelsson has the lead over Hoffer at the moment, but it's only 0.1 of a second. And when they came out of the range, it was about 0.6 of a second the other way. So Samuelsson covering the ground a little bit quicker. Mike, is he going to deny Hoffer again?
he may well do it.
Fettel pont amúgy a hétvégén tudja játni az asztalhoz. Még a felnök időfutamon mindenki a Fettelre figyelt meg a Ferrari-ra. Ezre
Akkor egy monda volt, 9 lettek, nem?
Csak idéz, egy. Ja, nem, idé Reitner lett a 9.
Sajnos elvették ezt a dolgot.
Fettel lett a 10. Jó tudom.
És amúgy...
Leclerc még 8.
És amúgy csak azért lett meg akkor, hogy bejött az SC-t, Russell végzett.
Nem, mert kiestek 6-8-on. Russell csinált volna pontszerzve, amit mindenki vét.
Ez akkor nem lesz volna.
Vindish won't stay there, but he's got to be happy with what he's done today.
That's very strange. His rhythm was brilliant there for the first 3 shots. Then he started feeling the pressure. I think that 2 out of 5 missed.
Hát nyilván vannak kötelezettségei, úgyhogy ezt használ, ha nem akarni feltenni. Ilyen ez.
Has gone and missed number 5 of the standing shoot, so he ends up with a 90% hit rate.
In a sense, Patrick, that's lucky for Johannes Tingesbø. Now he's going to come in.
Legalább idén bekerült az alapba, tavaly nem volt egy epizód, hogy legalább szerepel.
Nem, meg a Racing Point se volt tavaly.
Ja, hát idén jó, hogy volt. Velük kezdődött konkrétan.
És...
Perez
várjál.
És...
Giovinazzi benne volt?
Benne, hát az alapás. Nem, majd nézd meg.
Tudom, mert tavaly még egy vadúkép erejéig se volt benne.
Most a Alfa meg a ház egy epizódban benne volt egyik.
Most hogy?
Most a Zsabigánsz meg kimaradt.
For the first time we saw him having, by his high standards, a relatively bad day on the range in the relays, but he looks like it's all back together again today.
Yeah, what a contrast, Mike. That forearm position, the left forearm, some have it almost vertical, others it's at around 45 degrees.
I like the way it spreads the weight. You get a good feel through the rifle, I think, when you bridge it further out. Otherwise, you get a lot of end weight of the rifle and your pivot point very close to your left shoulder, or in his case, his right shoulder, being a lefty.
So, Lygrid across the line, into second. He's gone, obviously, ahead of Johannes Tingesbø, but he's lost a lot of time, Mike. I think he is starting to tire. And how many times have we seen this? It's not just the physical exertion, it's the mental exertion of being involved in the battle for the crystal globe. And
look at
Samuelsson's good.
Oh, that is good. He'll get everything to chase for now. It's on only a few occasions has he gone 0-0 this year, and this is at home. He really will make this next 3.3 hurt.
Yeah. Oh, that's fabulous support for Samuelsson. He's going to need it. He is going to need it because Hoffa put in a blinding last lap. Really good to put in a performance like that on your home tracks. Remember, he won the pursuit in the second week in Kontiolahti early on in the season. Came from 18th in the sprint to win the pursuit, and he's had plenty of top 10s since then. But we didn't see anything of brilliance until he went to the World Championships and got the silver medal in the pursuit. He also got the silver in the relay with the Swedish team. Here comes Teddy Abo, trying to do his brother a favour and stay ahead of Lygrid. He's going to do that. That's a good ski from Teddy Abo. And when he came out of the range, he was 14 down. So he has skied even quicker
on this last lap.
His first win this season.
Ja, Gasly,
many years on the tour.
Ferrari. Red Bull az kemény volt amúgy.
Well, that's not bad, but Mike giving away 8 seconds.
Ford nem mondja azt, hogy így elkapjuk a meccit, úgy elkapjuk a meccit, aztán nem. Idén elkapjuk a meccit, ha jövőre elkapjuk a meccit. A Merci mindent be kell adni. Aztán abból, amiben elmondja, hogy legyőztük a pályájukon, csak aztán nem mint olyan megszületek el mindenét. Ahogy le se szarták a Budapit a meccs szerintem.
Well, we're waiting for Seb Samuelsson to go through 8.8. He was 5.1 adrift of the Italian after the second shoot. So that 8.8 split is going to be important, but not nearly as important as the 9.6, where we find out how they pace the last lap. But he got with a miss on the first shoot.
Gassi folyton előző a Taurival.
Has always skis so well, but he just hasn't mastered the shooting. He was a world champion, but that was back in this race in 2017. But he's lost his way on the range.
First intermediate time, 7.5 seconds behind Johannes Dingesbø, but ahead of Ponce Roma, Tarjabø and Didier.
It must be so frustrating when you have a top 5 ski time in almost every race, but you're only
Az jó volt a Red Bull, amikor Gassi nyert. Közben megkérdezették, hogy Gassi fontosan vetett, hogy mi ez Gassi, ha visszajön Gassi, van esélye, aztán volna állított folyton. Hogy figyeljük Gassi, teljesen van adott, mint valami ilyesmi.
He's certainly in a position to overtake the Norwegian when he comes through for the second shoot. Logging off. One win this year, came in Antolz at altitude. He always does pretty well at Antolz. And of course he won the individual there this year, shooting 20 out of 20.
The last World Cup, remember, back to Östersund 2019, he came second here logging off, so good memories, that always plays a part. But it won't help him today for a podium.
Fastest shoot in the prone position, Simonada at 22.6. Just looking to see...
Mi van akkor, hogyha párezések egy ilyen gyakran teljesítményt nyújt BMW Bubot,
Ada was 30 seconds off the pace last time we saw him. He started number 25.
No.
Akkor így.
Samuelsson. Yeah, that is...
No.
Well, he's clawed back 1.2. He's got a bit of work to do, Mike. And I don't see where he gets it, because Hoffer just got faster and faster on that last lap, and he won the last set. I wonder whether he had a look at Dorothea Vera this morning and thought, yes, you have to keep working into the finish.
Ez jól fog szerepelni.
As always, he took quite a long time before the first shot. He bedded himself comfortably, got all the tension out of his position.
Biztos jobb.
Yeah, he's in the zone, isn't he? Those targets are bigger for him, and time is slower. It's a great position to be in, and Fiume is going to be competitive after shoot number 1.
Ez most fontos volt kijelenteni, ugye?
Yes, that's nice.
Ja, minden.
Back for decent form. He lost his form prior to the World Championships, having come third in Oberhof before the World Championships. So nice to see him back towards the top of the field again.
Thierry Langer of Belgium has had an absolute cracker. He's gone through the first shoot in 8th position and skiing exceptionally well. Varabay has got himself just outside the top 10. I'm just wondering whether the tracks are getting a little bit quicker for those starting later, Mike. The snow's not as heavy as it was early on. Langer into the finish now. 1 minute 10, 11, 12. He's going to be, 120 behind, somewhere around there. Just under.
Huge margins, unlike in the women's race, huge margins separating the top 5 at the moment, 55 seconds back to 5th place. I mean, that will change as
ugyanaz lesz, mint a Ferrari-nál vele. Majd jövőre jó lesz, majd jövőre.
Yeah, what have we had? 37 athletes, 38 athletes through the first shoot now. Now, what has Samuelsson managed to do? 16 seconds. I think Hoffer's hanging on in there. Talia Bo at 14 is in danger. I think the Norwegian is moving down to 3rd. And Samuelsson is going to second place. Yeah, Hoffer survives. And his hopes will be rising by the the second. Well done, Samuelson. Great shooting. Just didn't have it in the tank for that last lap. Just over 5 seconds to make up. He got some of it back, but I think Mike maybe again pushing too hard on the climb, not saving enough for the sprint at the end.
Oh, so hard. We thought it knowing yesterday, the last 2 World Cup races, that Samuelson was tired, so it's tough to bring out your best performance when required at home. And I'm really surprised he didn't pull that 5 seconds back.
So Jacquelin, who has beaten many a Norwegian in his time. The bigger the occasion, the better for Jacquelin. Johannes Dahle just dropping down the World Cup order a little, down in 5th at the moment.
Hát, ezt mondtam, volt fejét, aztán el is ment.
So I think the French Mike will be happy that their men were not going off in group number 1. Jacquelin has gone into 5th. Phil Maillet is in 2nd after the first shoot. He'll be in for the standing shoot in 3 or 4 minutes, something like that, as we watch Thierry Langer go through, still going well at 5.4.
Yes, that's a strong performance.
2018-as volt.
Ez a szarra volt, vagy ilyen nem?
Igen. For the big names in the French team, they were quite lucky.
És miért szóltad le, szegény?
A commanding view of the race.
Yeah, and for once, Mike, Johannes Tingesbo wants Phil Maillet and Jacquelin
De ott beszélni kéne vele minden nap, de nem nagyon akarod neki alapból. Se.
He'll be praying for them to hit in the stand.
What does it come down to? Nerve, or is it whoever's hungriest for the crystal globe, or do you think it's fatigue?
I think it's mind and fatigue at this stage of the season. They're all good. You can't afford a bad day.
So penalties for Christiansen. The French have got plenty of athletes to watch. This is one of them. Detieu, after the first shoot, right up the order. And 6th position coming in.
Lehet, ő is olyan, mint Wolf.
You can see the concentration in that right eye alone. Excellent shooting. Detieu clears 5, and he could be heading for the podium. Those in the top 3 at the finish certainly can't relax quite yet. Phil Maillet goes through in 1.2. When he came out of the first shoot, he was 3.1 behind, so he's closed the gap a little bit.
I have to say, Phil Maillet looks so relaxed at the top of the steep climb, and he's holding something back for his final lap. And Detieu, that was so steady, total confidence.
Automikor egymás helyett, és hanem, hogy egy viccet szomágoljuk ad azt.
Yeah, Detieu full of running. Absolutely looks tremendous. Really attacked that first couple of 100 meters. Here we go with the IBU champion from... in fact, no, it's Philip Kjeld Andersen, who was the IBU number 1. But Alexander also...
Günther volt a legjobb megint.
Yes, 4th overall, they were pushing each other, the brothers, and Alexander
Milyen volt a szezon szar?
Ezt mondtam, hogy ez 19-esnek a végén, hogy ennél már csak jobb lehet. Hát nem.
Hát nem lesz, hogy...
In terms of shooting, just 2 seconds down on Simonada. Stromsheim has shot fast, but other than that, he's the quickest Norwegian.
I thought that was a great performance, given that the wind there was really difficult for Andersen.
Let's see a 5.
Thinking time, it's the longer you wait, the more the risk. Well done.
It was worth it. It was worth it. He's avoided the penalty loop, and Belgium could be heading for a top 20, maybe.
De amúgy egyszer volt egy live, a Hamiltonról beszéltünk, az a Mike az leírta, hogy 5-ször, hogy ne beszélj.
He's just not there in terms of ski form. He would have been a minute off the pace had he gone clear, and that would have put him down in around, well, actually only in 7th position at the moment. There's quite a big gap between the leading 8, and then it's tightly bunched all the way down
Téged
to
szakad
28.
meg az ember, Kán. Zaklat téged, vagy?
They got bigger targets here in Sweden, Mike.
Oh, so good. It's got go a number of times this season. That's the perfect score in this race, and he really is a contender when those targets go down.
5.4, Samuelson with the quickest time, Hoffer, Fiolmaillet, Ponsaloma, Jacquelin, Detieux, 3 Frenchmen in the top 6 positions going through 5.4, and I think from that we can conclude that the French have made a good ploy to set off later. Fiolmaillet with a miss. He's not going to win.
Én is elküldök Kristófnak, hogy pilótát leigazolnak.
The gap between the leading 3 at the moment, just 14 seconds. The top 4
Mondjuk Ádámot nem érdekli az F2, úgy küldi.
Ja?
Engem meg érdekel az F2, mondjuk.
Hát összem? Mindegy.
Ádámot nem érdekli az F2, így tud ezért neki.
Hát akkor mondom, hogy
elmondtam a párszor elbasszni neki.
Iliev's had a good run in 6th at the moment. Ponsaloma down in 9th position, but it's still Italy leading with Lukas Hoffer, and they had Dorothea Vera on the podium this morning as well.
Yeah.
What do you think he's feeling at the moment, Mike?
Oh, he must be tingling with the thought that it could be real, that he's going to win, and I do think he's going to hold on to that win. And what a wonderful day that is for him. It's been a long time since he got that first victory.
Jacquelin still to go through the second shoot, and we know how quick Jacquelin is as we watch Latiapov finish. Just waiting to see Jacquelin's position. He's 7.8. Last time we saw him off the leaders. 19.7 the margin for Detieux.
Valami összefegyez, most van kell.
If he can hold that pace, but he's looking to might finish in the top 4 and push Leibrid down into 5th.
Johannes Dalia thought he looked tired last lap, but he seems to have found another punch, another level on this final lap for him. Quite incredible this speed which he has.
Yeah, for all impartial viewers who don't really mind who wins the overall World Cup, but just want to see a good competition. We want Leibrid and Johannes to finish as close together as possible, with a few people in between them. Dale doesn't manage to get ahead of Johannes Tingesbo. He's only 4 seconds outside, still skiing remarkably well. And 4 seconds given away to Johannes Tingis on the tracks. Now, Jacquelin with a chance of going top 3. Has to get 5. It's gone wide, just like his teammate Fielder. And suddenly he is going to struggle to finish in the top 10.
Nem tudok Kinga óráját célbe.
He was immaculate there for 7 beautifully accurate shots, and then he just kind of gave up. The pressure, or maybe I don't know what he did, but to lose your last 2 shots, you'll get a hard time from Jean.
De várj, akkor Sofia az már hivatalos nincs DTM-ben?
Hát elvileg, hát nem hivatalosan.
To slot into 4th position, which will push Leibrid down into 5, Johannes Tingesbo down into 6.
Nagyon jól fogja tenni.
Well, I can hardly believe,
buzi
Mike,
vagy?
that Ligrid has shot
Hát
10 out of
buzi.
10. Johannes Tingis has
De.
missed 2, and Ligrid could end up gaining just 1 or 2 points on the Norwegian.
De
It's
tehát
almost a lucky day. I was thinking
jó,
for
hogy
Johannes
kérdezett,
Tingis
arról
points. He missed 2
kérdezgetett
in his
képet.
first 5. Brilliant stand shooting, and it's going to make
Arra
this
ki kell
final
venni.
very tight. Get you're right in fourth position. So Ligrid down into fifth now.
Hát én amúgy Sofia igazából nincs elkezdő. Tehát ja, nem zavar.
Az vonalhatod magadtól.
Hát, hogyha Tomi beküld képeket Sofiáról, az engem nem zavar.
Inkább azt kérdezgesse, mint a többi esélyét.
He must feel the pressure of all
Amúgy
these
jobb baján.
and of course IBU Cup winners still to come in for his first shoot.
Ne állj neked részéről, figyünk, ha van Julián. Julián.
Just that little bit nervous.
You're absolutely right. No sooner had Bjorn Darden retired, and he was then firmly into the top 3 or 4 in the team, and then Ligrid and Dale appear.
It's tough. Sport is always tough. You have to be cutting it to make it into the teams on a regular basis.
Oh, we said he might have a chance, but not with this snowfall.
Még láttam egy ilyen F4-es bejelentést,
On that first lap.
még lánytot még.
Snow has become
A Dave-ről, vagy
wet,
ki?
larger snowflakes and wet that will
Igen,
slow the
Dave.
track down.
Nem, Ádám mondod, leiratkozott valakire.
Ja.
Tök mindegy, de kiről?
You can hear him holding and holding his breath.
Remélem nem rólam.
Brilliant.
Ja.
Well, a little nod there from
Azt nem a
Jean-Paul,
Márkot
just so
követted.
he's happy with that. And sometimes when you've got this much snow falling, it
Nem, Márkot szép.
visibility through your 1mm rear sight onto the foresight through to the target. But Gigan
Márkot.
managed that
Ja,
well.
csodás tévéverseny.
Ja, Mike. Ja, most ő is.
One lap for the Norwegian. Még Meyer på bana 1 för Sverige.
Well, Hartwig,
Ja.
10th and then
Ja,
what, 4th at the Junior World Championships, but he's played a large part in the Swiss relay teams and never let them down. Well, Thierry Langer, that's his personal best. I'll need to confirm that, but that is a brilliant performance from Thierry Langer. Belgium has landed.
Gigener and Anderson, the two best performers from outside the top half of the field. Gigener starting 79, Anderson starting 64. Both of those athletes have yet to come through to the standing shoot as we watch Field-Maillet around the top corner at 9.6, 400 metres to go for Field-Maillet. Gets a little breather before the final little climb that leads into a left-hand turn into the stadium. And this is where he needs to go into the all-out sprint. Field-Maillet down in 5th position last time we saw him, almost level with Ligrid. This could be really important, Mike, because he might get between Ligrid and Johannes Tingis Bø.
Francia,
That time of 31.9. He's got 11 seconds to get inside the Norwegian. He knows exactly what he's got to do, and he's usually pretty sharp finisher. I think he's going to push Ligrid down. He does.
Angelina.
Tehát ugye van ő.
By nearly 3 seconds from the top to the finish, but he's 6.2 seconds behind Dettier in the finish.
Ugye egyre több csaj van az F4-ben, ezt vettem észre.
Látom, hogy idáig már sok be kell követni.
I think we're looking at something like a 10-point swing towards Ligrid, and they started with a 25-point difference this morning.
Honnan tudod?
Sebastian Samuelsson and Tarjei Bø. Simon Dettier is fourth. When Field-Maillet is
És őt is meglepett.
4 races in all taken away from the results this year instead of the normal 2, so only 22 of the 26 races to count. And one of Johannes Tingis Bø's problems is every time a race is knocked off, it's a top 10 finish, whereas Ligrid had a couple of loose races earlier on. he loses an 18th place today, and then he'll lose a 14th place, I think it is, tomorrow, whereas Johannes Tingesbo loses a 10th today, and will be losing a 9th tomorrow, 32 points.
Yeah, that's what me.
Fabien Claude adjusted there, pulled the sights back, so his estimation has dropped off. And the third Claude brother racing today, 2 for France, 1 for Belgium.
Nem tudom, ez egy random beállított, és így maradt. Na, úgy nem zavar, sőt, így is vagy. De honnan adja több a sőt saját retténybe?
Kuranichev outside the top 30 of the World Cup standings this year. Shot clear in Budapest last week, as he has done here, and he's still finished outside the top 25. But it's a better result than we've seen in many races this year. But you know, probably averages between 25 and 35.
Yeah, this is much better. He hasn't had the ski speed in any single race earlier this season, but this is looking a lot better. He's probably going to lose another 18-20 seconds on that 37. Martin Jaeger had some good results this year. Of course, I think the highlight was when he won this race at the European Championships.
Into
the finish for Emilien Jacquelin as he has another 200 meters to go. Just gets a little bit of breather as he comes down into the free skating section. Less than 100 as you said, Mike, his head went down when that first shot missed, and he has lost a lot of time over that last loop, down into 21st position.
He's not happy, he doesn't want to be seen. It's quite interesting. Many said that he was the new Martin Fourcade, and he's got many of Martin Fourcade's skills, but Martin Fourcade would never have allowed himself to miss the last two, having hit the first 8. His discipline would have been stronger to just hold, get your breathing under control, and make those last 2 count.
Except in one venue, Mike. There was one venue where Fourcade could miss the last 2 or 3, and it was here.
At the World Championships, he had a couple of meltdowns when Johannes Tingesbo started putting him under pressure. He kind of changed, he had to adapt his control strategy.
11th for Christiansen, and the top 15 peppered by the Norwegian squad today. Telliabo is the best again, he's still in 3rd, and I can't really see anyone at the moment who's going to threaten him. Just keeping an eye out for some of the later starters to come through. Norath actually has had a wonderful start. He started 83, and you can see him there going through 9 seconds out. So it's all going okay for Norath at the moment. And the best of the Germans in the finish is Roman Rees down in 10th position.
And just think, Alpine will be watching this back home and probably not wishing that he was in this race, but you'll be hoping that he'll get these next 5 targets done. It's very good performance so far.
Facebookon ott közvetítja egész összes futamata is néztem. Hol szeretné Facebook?
Mit akartál a top eredménye?
Bent egy ilyen. Tehát, hogyha valamelyik tud hozni egy top, kinézhet egy F3.
That last target went down. He gains half a second on nearly everyone, just getting the rifle back on quicker than anyone else. But he came out of the range, Mike, like he only had 120 meters to ski. Really good effort, and he raised another sprint at the finish. He was hungrier than anyone else out there today, and we're expecting it's going to bring him his second World Cup win. It's been a long time coming as Giganat goes through the standing chute. 2014, his last win. It was January 2014 in Antolz when Lukas Hoffer last won. He's stuck at it for the last 7 years. That's really, really good news for him as we see Alexander Feld Anderson. It's a good run.
Yeah.
We're going to be seeing more of him on the World Cup. No doubt about it. Top 15.
Meghalt a utolstársad.
Ja. Szép helyszín. Milyen volt a verseny?
Hát az első versenyt ezt köszönhetem az EON-nak, hogy nem ment fel, a második viszont jó volt.
EO. Van EON, meg EO.
Igen, Nikolasz van. Elment az áram. Teljesen. Azt így 26. kört mentem, és így hello.
For a top 5 position was Philip Norath, but that one miss in the stand has put pay to that, and a second miss means he's going to struggle to hit the top 15, needs the last one, throws that wide as well. Suddenly he's going to be out of the top 20.
Quite interesting, isn't it? Second overall in the IBU Cup. It's a different standard here, although he normally does a lot better than this, and maybe it is because he's brought up to the top class, if you like. And just feeling pressure. The wind was pretty tough from the left there, and possibly factors in there as well.
Amúgy nem lett volna, akkor
Well, there you see the standings, and there will not be too many changes to the top 10, if any. Hoffer, I'm pretty sure, has got this one in the bag. Samuelsson put up a good fight, but had only managed to gain 1 of the 5 seconds he was behind after the second shoot, and most of that time lost on the range. Hoffer shooting very fast, very securely today, and a good effort, well-deserved victory if it turns out to be that way. Tanya Bow again, Mike. That's, you know, he's had 3 wins this season, multiple podiums, and what he's managed to do is to seal second place. No, the fight for third place in the overall standings goes on, and the battle is between himself and Canton Field-Maillet, who is 2 places below him on the results sheet at the moment.
Yes, I think Tarja Bo's had a fabulous season, except, surprisingly, at the World Championships. He maybe expected too much, and only the relay, in which he won the gold medal, no other medals, when he was maybe expected to walk with 3 or 4. Garanashev losing his way, lost over 24 seconds there, but I think the snow is making it more difficult now.
Winner of the IBU Cup, Philip Fjeld Andersen. Last starter today. Fabian Cloud with 2 loose shots on that standing shoot, so he won't join his teammates at the top of the order. Best of the French is actually Simon Detieux at the moment. Canton Field-Maillet down in 5th. Lygrid still 6th. Unbelievably, despite a 15-second margin, nothing separating Lygrid and Johannes Tingesbo. Just that one place, 6th to 7th. Johannes Dali down in 8th. Iliev in 9. Good run from Vladimir Iliev, Mike. That's excellent. And then Roman Rees of Germany in 10th.
Yes, Iliev, maybe, and I do think now it's the case, those earlier numbers, yes, they had a little snowfall, but right now it's badly affected. The tracks are definitely slower at this stage in the race, and that's unlucky for Martin Jäger. Should he get these 5?
Sofia mosolyog fényképet. Tomi az mindjárt beküldi tovább.
painful. 8 hits and then 2, the very last 2 shots. You can feel how broken he is. He knows that he's better than that. He knows that he can keep the rifle so steady and just let them disappear in split seconds.
So twice around the penalty for Jaeger before he heads out again. Best of the late starters, although starting after number 70 is Evgeny Garanichev of Russia, who's sitting in 7th after that second shoot. He's dropped to 9 by 8.8 and actually just got through 9.6. He's dropped again and just missing out on but certainly the best of the Russians today. Again, Norway dominating the top 10, but it's Italy who lead, and Lukas Hoffer.
Jake Brown, best of the Americans again, with 22nd place, 120 behind. It's very good biathlon. He's missed one as well, and it took, what, 10 seconds to fire his last shot. That's a lot of time to throw away. I think the Italian team is the relays next year is going to be a much improved team. 2 20-year-olds have been performing so well. One of them. Especially in relays, they're more relaxed. They've got 3 extra chances or spare rounds. Today it's just a magazine. If you miss, you're on.
Egyszerre két játékba fegyezik. Ja, én azt értettem, hogy ezért. Tomi az F1-ezik, meg GTA-zik.
Így mondja, hogy a Tomi az úgy F1-ezik, GTA.
Mondjuk az érdekes lesz.
Ugye, hogy ezt mondta Nikolasz?
Ezt mondta.
De arra értette, hogy ugyanolyan szarul.
Ja, hát jó. Az igaz.
Akkor már jöhetne nekem.
Ha inkább jobban jársz a kontrollered, Dani, hidd el, nem kell az neked.
Én pont.
De ami Tominak pont.
Ja, az fos.
Hidd el, Dani, nem kell az neked. Jobb a kontroller.
Szerintem is jobb. Majd nem csatoltak, de jó.
Ezek miatt kéne a gumikezelés, mint semmi más miatt. Olyan szar lenne, mint a kontrollerrel a gumikezelés, nem? Egyszer mindegy nyilván.
Robinnál kiesett Leclerc. Ő se szeretett csapattársal járni.
You do need an enthusiastic coach trackside, don't you? When you're trying to pull back or margins of seconds or seconds, you need someone there giving you some inspiration or at least some excitement.
No top performance today, but he's into the top 40, so he will get a start tomorrow. Pretty certain of that. 2:41 at the moment, separating the top 60. That will come down, I suspect, to around 220.
Motorral volt benne a háztánál, amúgy szerintem kezdtek volna több pont. Igen, pontosan. A fennyet, erre megadtam a legegyszerűbb választ.
I owe an apology to a Swede, one Magdalena Forsberg. I got my Magdalenas mixed up this morning in terms of the overall record. Neuner used to hold the record for the most number of sprints in succession, which Timo Eckhoff has gone and destroyed by winning 7 in a row. And of course it's Magdalena Forsberg who had the record of the most wins in a season, which was 14. And Timo Eckhoff, by winning this morning, has gone on to 13. So that record is under threat. Stegmaier, no threat to the leaders, and now has to wait and see whether he finishes top 55. I think it's highly unlikely. We've got another 22 to come across the line. He's only got 5 spaces left. I think that could be the end of his season. Only 30 racing on the final day. Always seems a bit of a shame, Mike, to have the match start on the final day and 3/4 of the tour missing out.
Yes, there's going to be spectators watching the grand finale, and it's going to be a nail-biter with Lygrade and Johannes Tingesbo still so close, nothing separating them.
Két kerékre basztod a VTCC
The
kocsit.
last 2 weekends are anything to go by.
Neked így.
Johannes Tingesbo has performed better in the pursuit than he has in the sprint the previous day.
Anyád.
Just time back to 60 as Norath tries to get his breath back, and he really let those shots disappear. Still only 2:35 back to 60th place. What a great day for Lukas Hoffer, untouchable now, and Samuelsson tried at, 5.1 seconds behind as he left the range, could only get it back to 4 seconds. And Terje once again on the podium. Garanashev certainly in the sprint race is best this season, and he was taken to the World Championships, but for the individual race he didn't let them down, finishing 17th there.
Meg amikor azt mondtad, a F1-19-es kopotokból jön a viszket.
Another solid performance, 10 out of 10 yet again. Good start position for him. Samuelsson, he was going for the win. He must have thought it was possible, but little did he know how fast Hoffer skied that last lap, and Samuelsson on the shoulders there, he was starting to tie up. This was Hoffer's best performance of the season, and I wonder how important it was for him to get a podium last week, Mike, and make him believe that he could win.
I think we said it at the time last week. He was a very early starter, and he didn't take himself to the wall on the last lap last week, and he was third by only something like 14 seconds. Today he had his chance and he didn't let it go, and he really pushed so hard on that final lap, and well done to him. It's the win today.
Yeah, probably even sweeter than the first one he got, which he had, as we mentioned, had to share with Simon Shep. Although that was on Italian snow, the fact that he's been going for 6 years since then and has been so close so many times, but hasn't made the top slot, and now he moves on to that second World Cup win. Draws level with his teammate Dominic Vindish.
And that will inspire the youngsters in their team. They'll be, I'm sure, taking a little sip of a wine tonight to celebrate, or not, because of the races tomorrow. It started well for Martin Jäger. I thought he was his life, but then he just completely lost his spirit after missing the 2 stand shots.
Mit építették, kedves Nikolász?
Építettem 2 házat, meg kivágtam egy erdőt.
Az jó.
Az erdész.
Megmutassam?
Én kíváncsi vagyok, nézzük meg.
Just looking at the shooting, I make it about 13 now. 13 men have shot the perfect score so far across the line. There will be more. 19 of the women earlier today had the perfect score. I think the conditions for the men have been slightly more difficult, changeable, and the fairly heavy snowfall affecting the sight picture through the sights. Kochev missing 2 targets, not going to make the top 60. He's 77th position.
Vannak egy páran.
Mindegyiken van maszk.
Mike just done a few calculations on the World Cup. By my calculations, and it's very unofficial, I would say that Johannes Tingesbo is on 1,016 points now, with Lygrade on 1,001. So 15 points between them on paper, But in the next race, Ligrid will lose. By my reckoning, he is going to lose some 27 points, a 14th position, and Johannes Tingesbø will lose 31 points for a 10th position. So the advantage has swung, and I put them pretty much level on points going into the last two races of the season.
Yeah, so much pressure, and Johannes Tingesbø needs to find his own shooting. I think to have the stronger chance, of course he's got the faster ski time, but he needs to hit targets.
Yeah, if Johannes can hit 10 in the prone tomorrow, that surely will set him up for the final day. But I don't think there's much doubt that it is going to the wire on Sunday. The men's mass start, the last race of the season. That is when the Crystal Globe is going to be decided. Almost as tense, if it's possible, as tense as it was last year between Martin Fourcade and Johannes Tingesbø.
Yes, that was incredible, especially with Johannes Tingesbø sitting out of two World Cup races, complete World Cup races, and Martin Fourcade, I think,
Azt nem értem, hogy van Tobina?
Johannes Ting, he found his biathlon.
269 követ.
At home with his wife Hedda, and
Ahogyan Pécnek 1000 feliratkozója.
quite amazing, I think, that Johannes Tingesbø
YouTube-on is 1000 feliratkozója van idén, kedves Boldi.
Nekem is 1000 van, de én tettem érte.
Így van.
Sőt, kemény. Bocsánat, 1590.
Ja.
Yes, it's a different world, and maybe that has taken some of his attacking edge from him. But of course, Johannes winning 10 races last year, and he's only got 4 this year, having attended the whole World Cup, 23 races so far.
Nem gondolom elkészült a versenyre.
Half of me was thinking that Johannes Tingesbø would find his shooting today and could, and maybe would win these last 3 races. He can certainly win tomorrow with a deficit of 46 seconds, and there's no reason why he couldn't win a mass start. First World Cup for Zubel. It'll be a tough experience. 52nd place, so he does get a start, potentially get a start. There's not many left to come across the line. Well, the coach is trying to give Streltsov some extra inspiration, but I'm not sure he's going to make the cut-off for the top 60 tomorrow. He needs to be across the line in 2:27, and it's going to be very tight. Oh, he may well do it. He needs to get a move on. Not quite. Outside the top 60.
Tamásnak ették.
So we're back to the standard 2.5 minutes between the top 60 at the moment, with only a couple of athletes left out on the tracks. We can start to congratulate the top positions, Hoffa, Samuelson and Tariba. 1, 2, 3, great running. And Detieu, Mike, he got that win that he's been after for 8 years, finally got it and seems to have got some confidence with it. Good fourth position, 2 French in the top 5, but Jacquelin will be furious he missed on the standing shoot. And of course, Ligrid and Bø in 6 and 7. And when you look at the results that are going to be taken away in the next 2 races, the advantage
és a következő megálló után előtte ott vagy
something like 7 or 8 points.
valahol
So
közel.
that may be what turns the season. And Johannes Tinges will maybe a little bit aggrieved that they changed the rules for this year.
Multi megkerestek.
De csak a 2300-re. Csak akkor lesz.
Reális lehetőséget feltenni
Tomorrow, not from position of 58, but you wouldn't expect the IBU winner to be that far down. But with 3 misses, he knows where he's got to improve.
No, and you can have sympathy. Young athletes being promoted up to the World Cup around all of his heroes in his own team, and self-pressure. He wasn't relaxed as he has been at the IBU Cup, totally in command there. And now he's got a real chase on and probably won't make the top 60.
Igen, sajnos akkor nem kértem autogramot, ez szomorú.
2:29 the margin at the moment. So he achieves that, and as he's the last starter, he knows he is on the start line tomorrow, but he's going to be starting about a kilometre behind Italy's Lukashofer, who's going to be the first away, just 4 seconds ahead of Samuelsson, Taribo at 14, Detieu at 22, and Phil Maillet will be starting 28 seconds back. And then the 2 big players for the Crystal Globe this year, Lygrid starts 6th at 31 seconds, and Johannes Tingesbo has 15 seconds to make up on Lygrid. And Johannes has to really make sure he's back on the podium, but he's achieved that in the last 2 pursuits, so maybe he is confident he can do it. Dale down in 8th position, 2 misses again. The ski speed is very, very good. On 1 miss, he would be top 5. Ponsalona, the world champion, down in 14th, missed 2 on the stand. That was a little bit sloppy. And then Emilia Jacquelin, Mike, even worse, dropped down to 24th.
His spirit, the fight, it just disappeared. And I think he'll get a hard time from his coaches for that, because tomorrow is important, the pursuit competition.
And it's not as if Jacquelin doesn't have something to fight for. 6th in the overall World
Lehet, hogy
Cup.
voltam a kedves sulimtól a centrumig. Kapcsolóba jöttem. Fárasztó.
But it's Lukashofer of Italy, the 31-year-old from Brunico, who has taken the win here.
Piros man az jobban tetszik.
Jött, nézzük a már.
Aha.
Hát két héttel ezelőtt voltam Miskolcon, és találkoztam vele, de nem tudom, hogy hol vagy.
Szomorú.
Már az Isten.
Ennyi. Majd még kéne.
Adtam már neki autogramot, meg ilyenek. Közös kép, meg ilyenek.
Igen.
Én majd kérek. Nem tudom, hogy postálsz, mint F1-es kártyákat.
Nem, nekem már jön a menet is a aláírt kártyám valamikor.
Egy dedikált.
Remélem, most meg volt a szocs.
Nekem is kéne olyan rendelni, de most
én meg ezt.
Epiken? Vagy hol?
Ubisofton, nem?
Tehát csak a hétvégén ingyenes, vagy ha megszerzed, akkor úgy ilyet.
So let's have another look at the top 3 here in Östersund. Taribo, the older of the 2 brothers, the better of the 2 brothers today. 14.4 off the winning time, but he's on the podium again, having started in a good position at number 17. He was on the podium in Novo Mesto. He won the pursuit in Novo Mesto 2 weeks ago. And as Mike said, only the World Championships did he come off the boil slightly. A win in the mass start in
rá is keresett, ahogy nézem. Azért nem látok semmilyen rainbow.
Nálam nem igen.
Na, most. Amúgy
with just 5 seconds
8
to make
euróra
up
van értékelve, de
Italy's
nem mindegy.
Swedish offer.
Adi, nem tudom, hallottad, de van ilyen könyvtárpalózás szín.
But it wasn't through lack of trying that he had to settle for second.
Steven van ilyen könyvtár megosztás, hogy
Was
játékkönyv.
inspired. An
Velem
unbelievable
se.
final 500 meters from Hoffa.
Csak így kipróbálni az F1-20-at, csak annyira kéne. Nem éven?
Totally focused in the range.
It gets better and better on the track, and I'm super happy we had
As always,
de neki nem.
two times in the sprint now. Exit from the shooting match.
Biztosan meg kell tényleg.
Perfect 20 minutes of biathlon, and
Hát akkor megoszthatom vele egyik.
Ja, neked megvan a játék?
Meg.
Ó,
I was able to make my hobby as a job.
Mutasd meg, csak azt mutasd meg, hol kell megosztani.
It's not the right place.
Jó.
I enjoy each meter what I am able to ski. Congratulations. Thanks.
Várjál, megkeresem a videót. Csak várjál, megnézem, hogy elférek. Mennyit fogol a játék? 40 gigát?
Aha, kb.
Nekem most van 28, már letörlöm valami kefet.
Hát az F19-et.
Nem, az egy jó játék, azt nem töröljük.
Ja. Én kérem.
Azt nem töröljük.
19 az nekem sem most.
Töröljük a Woodrunnert.
Hát az aki törölt, az a picsának, mert az 1 giga.
Egy gigával több helyem lesz.
Több tárhely. Nikolász, több tárhely.
Na jó, az F1-12-t fixálni töröljük.
Azt én is töröltem. Megvan.
Tudom, az soha nem fog játszani többet.
De mi mehették
Azt
a
nagyon ki lesz
12-et elmúltizni egyszer, ami Nikolász?
Biztos.
Hát, csak egy pár kör. 3
Hát most töröltem, nem majd.
Talán.
Még az idén.
Ja, értem.
Várjál, letöröljük a Windows, nem tudom micsodát, az nem kell.
Hogy ez F11-jel kéne majd tisztítani.
Leszarom.
Letöröljük a rendszerbeállításuk, és az se kell. Meg minden.